John?
In southeast Atlanta tonight, one man is dead, another injured after an argument erupts into gunfire. The victims were both in a car. Investigators say they got into an argument with two other men who were outside the car. This happened at 1010 McDonough Boulevard. Police tell us they believe the shooting is drug-related. Neither victim has been identified. The injured man is being treated at Grady Hospital. So far, there have been no arrests, and police right now are trying to find witnesses to the shooting. From Egypt tonight, a report of an arrest of a suspect in yesterday's bus attack that killed 9 people. Egypt's state-owned news agency says the man in custody is a Palestinian who went to Egypt 2 weeks ago with his accomplices. Terrorists attacked the Israeli tour bus yesterday on a desert road about 40 miles outside of Cairo. Gunmen sprayed the bus with bullets and then threw grenades inside. In addition to the deaths, at least 17 people were injured. 2 Muslim fundamentalist groups have claimed responsibility for that attack.
Tonight, President Bush is under attack from environmentalists who say his speech on global warming was a bunch of hot air. Today, Mr. Bush talked to an international panel in Washington, D.C. about the concerns of global warming. The president says more research is needed before economic actions can be taken to control the problem. Critics feel, though, he should have called for tough anti-pollution measures. Mr. Bush says environmental protection of the atmosphere must continue, but not at the expense of economic growth.
Economic growth and environmental integrity need not be contradictory priorities. One reinforces and complements the other. Each a partner, both are crucial.
Mr. Bush says he will call for a meeting at the White House this spring to cope with the global warming issue. The president has requested a 57% increase in next year's budget for environmental research.
Former President Ronald Reagan tonight is claiming executive privilege. He is refusing to surrender portions of his personal diaries as evidence in the Iran-Contra trial of John Poindexter. Mr. Reagan's former national security advisor wants part of the diaries made public to help defend his claim that he was acting with presidential authority in the Iran-Contra deal. Now, the judge in the Poindexter trial also wants the former president to testify on videotape and answer more than 150 questions from Poindexter's attorneys. In that regard, former President Reagan is also expected to claim executive privilege and refuse. Brenda?
There's still lots more ahead on Eyewitness News tonight. In Paulding County, law officers discover a drug lab capable of producing millions of dollars worth of amphetamines.
Also coming up, the husband of a woman murdered at a bank less than 2 years ago is outraged tonight that one of the men involved in the crime has been freed from prison.
Plus an update on Georgia's youngest heart transplant patient.
An Eyewitness News special report. It's hot, it's deadly, it's coming to Atlanta. They call it ice.
I was addicted to ice. That's the first time I used it.
A new high in drug abuse, ice.
It will take the place of crack.
A new form of speed that kills, ice.
We should definitely be scared.
Ice. A mental meltdown.
A crack high can last 20 minutes compared to an ice high, which can last 20 hours.
Ice. Coming to Atlanta. Channel 5 Cynthia Good investigates the cold facts of ice. Tuesday at 6 on Channel 5.
Kicks 101.5 FM. Atlanta's country leader not only has 52 minutes, count them, 52 minutes of music an hour, but you can win $10,000 a day, every day, from Kicks, of course. 101.5 FM. $10,000 a day. Isn't that great? All that music, all that money. $10,000 a day, every day. All for you. All from Kicks 101.5. Atlanta's country leader. Boy, I bet you're special.
The American Express card invites you to enjoy Colorado winter Vail style. Relax and unwind in the spectacular Rocky Mountains and use the American Express card for all Vail has to offer. 5-night ski packages start at just $629 per person. Come, the Rocky Mountains are waiting for you at Vail, Colorado. Call 1-800-525-2257 for Vail reservations.
Some people want to change the world. We just want to change your oil.
Senator, what really happened to those missing campaign funds?
I'm glad you asked me that because it reminds me of a story my father once told me. He said, when the fish aren't biting...
Some people want to change the subject. We just want to change your oil.
In Paulding County, northwest of the metro area, police say they've busted a methamphetamine lab responsible for millions of dollars worth of illegal drugs. Channel 5's Doug Richards joins us from our newsroom with more on this story. Doug?
Brenda, the lab they found in Dallas, Georgia made crystal methamphetamine. It's made with a dangerous mix of chemicals, and more often than not, these labs make the news after they've blown up. This one was still intact when the bust went down late this afternoon. The sign on the door says keep out, and when you go in, you can see why.
We're looking at somewhere around $1 million worth of street value.
It looked like a disassembled moonshine still, located in what was once a child's bedroom. 3 pounds of newly processed crystal methamphetamine, chemicals including sulfuric acid, ether, even drain cleaner.
There's enough chemicals here to make another 5 pounds of crystal methamphetamine. Really?
Investigators describe it as a drug laboratory that had operated for months in this Paulding County house, allegedly producing millions of dollars worth of crystal meth and distributing the drug throughout northwest Georgia. As investigators showed off their haul, the odor of the volatile chemicals filled the air.
There's enough back there to probably blow this house up and blow it off its foundation. It's just very
Police say they jailed the 3 people responsible. 2 of them, a husband and wife, have 3 small children who also lived here. Next door, Donald Warner says he had no idea.
They kind of kept to themselves, to tell you the truth. They didn't say too much. They'd come in and out, they'd nod their head every once in a while, say hello to me and ask me how I was doing.
There were 3 people arrested, but police are releasing only one name. He is Hoyt Kirby, though police say that may be an alias. He is from Texas. Investigators say they may make a dozen or more additional arrests in connection with this case in Paulding County. John, Brenda?
All right, thank you very much, Doug.
And we want to remind you that beginning tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, we're going to begin a 3-part special report on ice. Cynthia Good will have the story. Ice, a new and deadly form of drug that is now showing up in the Atlanta area. Tonight, the 1988 murder of a convenience store clerk has come back to haunt the victim's family. Just 20 months after robbing the dying woman, 2 of the men convicted in the case are out on parole. James Brown and Derek Carter were part of a 4-man gang that planned the murder and robbery of Sandra Davison. The 2 other men were sentenced to life in prison for the actual murder. But Brown and Carter were paroled after the men served a total of only 20 months each. Sandra Davison's husband is outraged.
If they hadn't have set it up, she wouldn't have been robbed. She wouldn't have been killed. So they're just as guilty as the man that pulled the trigger.
The Pardons and Parole Board says it acted according to state law when it ordered Carter and Brown released. Brenda?
An infant boy remains in critical but stable condition tonight after a heart transplant. Last week, 9-day-old Corey Wilson received a new heart after a 6-hour operation at Henrietta Eggleston Children's Hospital. He is the youngest person in Georgia to receive a new heart. Little Corey was born with a heart defect, usually fatal within just 2 weeks of birth. The left ventricle of his heart was virtually non-existent.
When we come back, Ken Cook with the weather forecast and what we hope will be another spring-like day.
Looking forward to it. But coming up first, it's out of this world, a Soviet space motorcycle. We'll take a look in just a moment.